During the process of lactofermentation in saltwater brine, lactic microbial organisms appear in the solution, and these organisms turn the naturally occurring sugars of this vegetable into lactic acid. As that happens, the solution swiftly becomes acidic, making the environment uninhabitable for any spoiling bacteria to survive or multiply. Pickled cucumbers can also be created using a salt and vinegar brine, which is mostly used for home cooks. This brine, often called pickle juice, is occasionally used by athletes to treat dehydration, although it hasn't been proven to be a true remedy. Pickles or pickled cucumbers are very popular all over the world. However, that also means that each part of the world has different ways of making them. One of the many forms of pickles in the world today are brined pickles. These are made by utilizing the traditional method of natural fermentation in brine, which ultimately causes them to grow sour. The salt content in the brine may vary, falling between 20 to 40 grams per liter, or 2 3/4 to about 5 1/4 ounces. However, it is important to note that vinegar is not necessary for the brine used to ferment pickled cucumbers naturally. The fermentation process of pickles mainly depends on the lactobacillus bacteria that is normally found on the skin of a growing cucumber. These bacteria can be removed during the process of commercial harvesting and packing. However, in cases where they are needed, bacteria cultures may be reintroduced to the harvested vegetables by adding already fermented products, such as pieces of sourdough bread, pickled vegetables like sauerkraut, or fermented milk products like yogurt and others. Normally, small cucumbers are put in a glass or ceramic vessel or a wooden barrel, along with various spices such as white mustard seeds, garlic, dried allspice fruits, horseradish, grape, cherry, oak, blackcurrant, and bay laurel leaves, the whole dill stems with umbels and green seeds, and most importantly, salt. The vessel is subsequently filled with clean water and stored under a non-airtight cover, which usually ends up being a cloth tied on with a rubber band or string. It's kept here for some weeks based on preferred taste and external temperature. Traditionally, stones that have been sterilized by boiling are laid on top of the harvested cucumbers to submerge them under the solution. It's important to note that the cucumber's sourness is highly dependent on the quantity of salt added, as saltier cucumbers end up being sourer. Considering that brined pickles aren't made with vinegar, there is a film of bacteria that forms on top of the brine. This doesn't mean that the pickles are ruined, and the film of bacteria can be removed. However, pickles made without vinegar do not last as long as cucumbers that have been pickled with vinegar and have to be refrigerated. Therefore, most commercial manufacturers and pickle factories choose to add vinegar as a preservative for extended shelf life.